Hello, welcome to our Focus Forum. I'm Rita Riker, President of Focus Greater Syracuse, and so pleased to welcome you to our in-person and virtual hybrid forum. I want to thank the CNY Community Foundation for letting us use this beautiful space. I also want to thank EDR for their generous sponsorship of this Focus Forum. EDR's mission is dedicated to creating and sustaining a better environment for their clients, their employees, and their communities. You can read more about EDR's mission on our website, focussyracuse.org. Today's topic is pathways to job and career success for students and adults. We are very pleased to welcome two individuals who are very much involved in this area. I will briefly introduce each before they speak. More of their background can be found on our website, focussyracuse.org. First up today is Quindell Williams, Workforce and Talent Development Coach in the Department of Career Technical Education, CTE, of the Syracuse City School District. At CTE, Quindell works with students seeking employment, post-secondary certification, diploma options, and other steps that support their career goals. Prior to taking this position, Quindell taught remote piloted aircraft systems technology for 6 years at the Public Service Leadership Academy at Fowler High School. Quindell is also an FAA Part 107 certified SUAS drone pilot. I wish I knew what that meant. And an Emmy Award-winning photojournalist. He holds a bachelor's degree in broadcasting and mass communications from SUNY Oswego and an Associate of Applied Science degree in electronic media communications from OCC. Quindell, it's all yours.
Thank you. I also want to point out, because he's in the room, right, I am an On Point alum. Yeah, so good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, my name is Quindell Williams. I am the Workforce and Talent Development Coach for our Career and Technical Education Department in the Syracuse City School District. And prior to that, yes, I taught the remotely piloted aircraft systems, and SUAS stands for Small Uncrewed Aircraft System. So it's just an acronym that just means drone. So just uncrewed. All right, so I'm just going to kind of go through. I'm happy to share all the exciting things that we're doing in Syracuse City School District as it pertains to career and technical education. I have a really unique perspective on it, having taught in the classroom, been a career coach, and I'll get into what those things are later. And then now be on this side of things where I'm trying to put students in place to elevate and continue on their pathway. So I'm just going to have a slideshow for you guys here. As we pull that up.
I'm not screen sharing it.
No problem. Awesome. All right. So let's talk about how what we're doing to make sure that we're putting our students in place to be successful, right? We're giving them the competitive advantage, right? We have nearly 40 programs of choice once the STEAM school opens up in the fall to allow our students to choose. It's a 9th to 12th grade pathway model, which means that our students are, before they get into high school, they're choosing which pathway they want to be a part of, and then they are within that pathway for the 4 years that they're in high school. So they're building relationships with their teachers, they're building relationships with industry partners, they're building relationships with the community partners, they're building relationships with post-secondary partners. Before they actually walk into the building in the fall as a 9th grader, we have a summer bridge program for them where they're able to actually go in and interact with their teachers, right before they get into the building and everyone else is in there. So they're interacting with their teachers, interacting with some of their peers, and they're also seeing some of the tools, seeing some of the tools and labs that they will be using throughout the year. Most, if not all of our CTE programs have integrated credits embedded in them. So for instance, ELA, English Language Arts, like if you're in the media communications programs, obviously you need to learn how to write a script, right? So those things are embedded into that program. Math and science, as a drone technology teacher, our students had to figure out distance, how far a drone might be able to fly and height and width and things like that. College level credits are important as well, right? With our post-secondary partners, our students are earning college level credit at OCC and BCC, SUNY Broome, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Industry recognized certifications and credentials, our students are earning those right while they're in the classroom before they graduate. And we have a lot of great things that we're doing with our industry partners to allow them to come in and interact with our students, whether they're in the classroom with them or they're on site at their particular company or business. And then just giving our students, again, the competitive advantage of these programs. Once they complete it, they're earning advanced Regents distinctions. And how are we doing that, right? We want to make sure that we are removing barriers. So equity is literally at the center, at the heart of what we do at Career and Technical Education, right? Making sure that we're allowing our students to have access to things that is going to help put them in a position to be successful. So we have our supports for our English language learners, and supports for our special education students to make sure that they're right there helping our students be successful as they're learning in these career and technical education pathways. Making sure that they have the proper identification as they try to, some of the industry certifications requires that folks have driver's license or learner permit. So we want to make sure that we're putting things in place to make sure that our students have access to that. So we have a driver's license, a driving program that allows our students to get their learner's permit, learn how to drive through branch driving school, and then eventually earn their driver's license. And then we're continuing to develop innovative programs inside the classroom, in our downtown district offices and beyond with industry and community partners. I talked a little bit about how students earn college credit while in high school. P-TECH programs is one way that we do that. So P-TECH stands for Pathways in Technology Early College High School. And basically it's a grant-funded program that allows our students to be a part of the Syracuse City School District for, we have 4 years, and then there's 5 and 6, their 5th and 6th year, they're up on a college campus earning those college credits to get their associate's degree, and making sure that they're first in line for those industry partnerships that we've developed with them throughout the 4 years that they're with us in high school. But also they're earning their associate's degree in their 5th and 6th year at no cost to the student, no cost to the family, right? So it's grant funded, and our students are able to go and take these college courses while on campus without having that load of financial debt and responsibility hanging over the head. So we have about 8 of those P-TECH programs currently throughout our various high schools. There's 2 at ITC, 2 at PSLA, 3 at Henniger, and 1 at Corcoran that we just implemented to get our students prepared for Micron when they get here. So our semiconductor microchip technology program. And then, again, our post-secondary partners are really important to us. So aside from the P-TECH programs where our students are earning those college credits through OCC, SUNY Broome, and MDCC, they also have the opportunity to earn credit through SUNY EFC and Syracuse University through either dual credit programs or other opportunities where credit is embedded in the classes that they are taking while in high school. Aside from, in addition to those post-secondary partnerships, our industry partners are just as well as important as the post-secondary partners, because again, what we're doing with CTE is making sure that our students are not only college ready, but making sure that they're career ready, because not every student wants to go to college. So what are we doing to make sure that they are put in place to, if they wanted to, right out of high school, go right into a career? So we definitely are strengthening our partnerships with the industry as they come in to either be on our advisory team. So they're connecting with our teachers to making sure that our teachers are well informed of what is out there. You know, most of our teachers come from the industry, but some of them have been out of the industry for quite a while. So things are changing every day. So what do we need to do to make sure that we are preparing our students with the proper tools to make sure that they are successful? We have our advisory councils that allows us to, right? They're coming in, speaking with our teachers directly to let them know what it is that they need in their classrooms to make sure that our students are prepared. Volunteering as career coaches. When I first started, when I first found out about CTE, I came in as a career coach when I worked in the industry, and I was so blown away by it. I'm like, well, I need to get in on this. So I ended up becoming a teacher for the drone program, but really, you know, connecting again, making those relationships with our students, with adults who are already in a career path that they want to be a part of. How do we make sure that our students are motivated and comfortable enough to ask questions and be in line to the places that they want to go into? So providing internship and job shadow opportunities, helping students learn career ready practices. And what I mean by career ready practices are basically, you know, those 21st century skills that industry folks say that we all need to have, right? That's transferable. Problem solving, critical thinking, communicating, all the things that we need to teach our students to be able to be ahead of the charge. And you'll see the great difference with our career coaching, like from 9th grade until by the time they get to 11th grade, you'll see just the confidence in them as they're interacting with those folks from the industries. And how they interact with folks from the industry is through work-based learning opportunities. This is what is giving our students the competitive edge, right? Applying real-world application and practical tasks to what they're learning in the classroom and connected to what is happening in the industry. So folks coming in, again, connecting with our students, and then taking them outside of the classroom and showing them, letting them put their hands on things that they will be eventually using once they go out into the workforce. Career exploration, skill development, again, making sure that we're developing those soft skills of communication. Showing up on time is a huge thing that we want our students to be knowing. Problem solving, teamwork, collaborative, independent work, all those great things that we guys know as adults. We really, or sometimes we know as adults, we really want to make sure that our students are prepared once they get into the workforce. A lot of great networking opportunities. I believe networking is key. So as a teacher, I would always say, you know, build your network, build connections, because you never know where they're going to take you. Increase motivation with our students. They're motivated. They're excited to be in the classroom because they're touching and learning things that they are excited about learning. And then they're more confident because as they build and grow, they're understanding what it will take for them to be successful. Here's a few things what the data tells us about what CTE is doing. Higher GPAs for our students than students who are not in CTE, being regularly engaged in their studies, right? Being able to apply their core content material to what they're doing in the classroom. You know, I spoke about ELA and script writing and math with drone technology. Those things are applicable for them. You know, instead of them coming out and saying, well, when am I ever going to use this? They're seeing it right there in their CTE classrooms. They attend school more. They show up often. They're earning more credit, higher graduation rates, and they're feeling more prepared and confident once they leave us from the school buildings. And this is just kind of a graphic just to kind of show what the average GPA for our CTE students are versus students who are not in CTE. So the idea is really, you know, we really want all of our students to take part of this. And we're doing our best to make sure that we're building more and more programs to make sure that all of our students have access to these programs. And I promise I'm going to wrap it up, but I want you to take just a quick look at this image here, right? This is not these are not images from some random, you know, AI Google lookup. These are images from our are students who are actually doing hands-on activities outside of their classroom. All right, so you see students working automotive, right? Working on the camera. And if you look kind of in the bottom right corner, those two students are my former students who are currently seniors who are already Part 107 certified SUAS pilots, right? They already have their professional certification, their commercial drone license, so they can right now be using that to earn money, essentially. And they're seniors. They haven't even graduated yet. Okay, this is just a snapshot of all the programs that we're offering. We have some new ones coming to the STEAM school very soon. Okay. PSLA has most of our programs right now, 14 pathways, and that range from barbering to law enforcement to geospatial, and our 2 P-Tech programs, computer information systems and drone technology, or RPAS. Corcoran has 5 pathways, including HVAC, urban teacher prep, welding, and again, our computer chip design and production program. That name just changed from the semiconductor microchip, but that's our program that we are making sure that our students are prepared once Micron is up and running. ITC is our other aside from PSLA, ITC is our fully pathway building. So that means every student that is enrolled in both PSLA and ITC has to be enrolled in a CTE program. Automotive, biotechnology, culinary arts, media, communications, all great programs that students are engaged in. Henniger has our health professions academy, so medical assistants, laboratory science, health information technology. All these students are, again, there's 3 P-Tech programs there, so students are getting practical experience in and outside the classroom, and a lot of students are currently now having job shadow opportunities, where I just heard a couple of weeks ago, one student was excited to see someone get their face peeled back, which is right, but they were excited about it. So if they're excited about it, then we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, right? We're exposing them to things that they want to be a part of, because they are, the future for us. Nottingham, 4 pathways, business tech, and guys, please write me up whenever. I'm sorry if I'm going over. I did this in front of my wife last night. She told me to wrap it up. So I'm trying to apply the notes that she gave me here. Construction technology, natural resources, all great programs. And then again, and in the fall, we're full steam ahead with the regional STEAM building. And you guys have seen the construction going on down the street here. And some great opportunities for our students who are going to be in the first ever regional STEAM academy, or sorry, regional STEAM high school, with some really cool pathways ranging from animation and game design, performing arts, construction management, data analytics, and again, another semiconductor manufacturing tech program, because this building was intended to make sure that we're seeing what's to come. When it's built, we want to make sure that our students are ready and prepared to be in line for those jobs. I'm going to leave you here with a screenshot of our admin team here. This is their information if you want to get in touch with some folks and have more. A lot of the stuff we have online as well. Okay, and then this is my information as a CTE workforce development coach. I'm new to the role this year, so learning a lot of cool things, but looking forward to all the great things that we are going to continue to do in Syracuse City School District as it relates to career and technical education. So thanks for allowing me to speak to you about it.
Thanks, Quindell. A lot of great things happening in the city school district, and clearly you're passionate about it, so thank you. So next up is Amelia Postolowska, Director of Workforce Innovation at Center State CEO. Amelia focuses on meeting the workforce needs of our growing manufacturing sector. She oversees the Bridge to Manufacturing Careers program, a pathway for women, people of color, and unemployed and underemployed residents to gain increased access to careers at Micron and other advanced manufacturing. Previously, Amelia held several roles addressing social determinants of health in vulnerable populations. Amelia also serves as a board and executive committee member of the Syracuse Onondaga Food Systems Alliance, the CNY Lyme and Tick-Borne Disease Alliance, and Syracuse Northeast Community Center. She holds a bachelor's degree in public health from Syracuse University and a master's degree in public health through a cooperative program between SUNY Upstate and the Maxwell School at SU. Amelia?
Hi, everyone. Happy to see you all here. Quindell actually did a lot of the heavy lifting for me, so thank you so much. I also have a slide deck that I'm going to share with all of you, but just really quickly, what we'll cover is hoping to set the stage of where we're at right now in the economic landscape and the continually shifting economic landscape in the area, what some of the upcoming new opportunities for adults are, and what that looks like right now on the ground. And so again, what Quindell described, what's happening at the city school district for the youth, is a really good example of as we're thinking about how to increase these opportunities for adults, really learning and partnering with our community partners who are already actively doing this kind of work and are very successful. So the intention is to continue to advance it and find new opportunities to innovate as we find ourselves in a very different opportunity. Okay. Okay. So first, I think everyone here has heard about a little company called Micron. Micron, a couple of years ago, made a historic investment in not just New York State, $100 billion investment that's going to transform the area, but especially in Central New York by selecting to build it's 4 new fabs in the Syracuse and Central New York area. What that means is that there's going to be thousands of jobs, billions of dollars of economic development happening over the next couple decades. Let's see what that looks like from a GDP perspective. So you'll see the chart here, the expected trend. It's going on an upstream there, but with the Micron investment, we're going to see a $16 billion impact in 3 years. That is, let me see if I can even read the slides. I should have brought my glasses. We're going to see a higher GDP impact in the next 3 years from Micron's investment than we've seen in the previous 16 years. So about a $7 billion growth, which is really exciting. That also means in order to meet that investment, those impacts, we are going to need people and employees and skilled workers to actually make this happen. And so what that means is that the demand in construction and manufacturing is going to increase exponentially as well. A lot of these jobs are going to happen in actually building the facilities. Again, the first fab groundbreaking is going to be happening in the next few months. 4 total facilities being built over the next 20 years. We'll also need a lot of skilled technicians to fill those roles. So what we're working on with our community partners is providing opportunities and to not only help train some of these local to train our local community in accessing these jobs, but also really understanding what the needs of the manufacturers, not just Micron, but our other partners in the area will need to hire skilled workers. Let me go back. Part of that is bringing together the employers, the training providers, educational resources, community partners in understanding what all those needs are through the Future Ready Workforce Innovation Consortium. So a lot of alphabet soup coming at you soon. The idea here is to build a better ecosystem to support a multifaceted approach to talent and workforce development in Central New York. That also means training, attracting, and retaining a more diverse workforce in high-quality manufacturing and construction careers. So those are two of the most in-demand careers across the state that we'll be seeing in a variety of different ways. Part of this includes pathways for degree and non-degree programs. Quindell did a great job of describing what some of those things are offered for students. A lot of parallel tracks for the adults as well. So some people may want to go on to higher education. We're working really closely with our partners from OCC, Syracuse University, and Lemoyne College to achieve those goals. But some might want to actually go to work a lot quicker. We have shorter term job training opportunities, pathways to apprenticeship programs, Syracuse Build, other credentials that will get people in the workforce faster. So these are jobs available at all different levels. Again, a lot of this work is happening in tandem, and this group meets pretty regularly to have opportunities for idea sharing, for areas of increased growth and innovation in how to meet the moment that we find ourselves in right now. Part of it is, again, focused on the construction aspect. Again, people are going to be needed to build all of these companies, all of these fabs that are going up. Technicians will need to be in there to build the chips. And then additional outreach and career exploration for exposing un- and underemployed Central New York residents to these opportunities. We want to make sure that none of this is done in a vacuum. If we're expecting this much economic growth in the area, one of the key goals is to make sure that everybody in the community is able to come along for the ride. It shouldn't just be left to just a small group of people who maybe have had previous experience in some of these. The idea is to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to explore these family-sustaining career opportunities if they so choose. Another part of this collaborative effort revolves around on-ramp. So about 2 years ago or so, the governor announced a huge investment in the area to create on-ramp, which is an acronym for One Network for Regional Advanced Manufacturing Partnerships. Syracuse and Central New York was selected to be the flagship hub of this massive workforce training center modeled after the Northland Workforce Development Center in Buffalo that will specifically focus on building up those careers and access to the jobs in construction and manufacturing. So most recently, the old Sears building on South Salina was selected to be the location of the hub. Which is really exciting. Another opportunity to continue to make strategic investment in areas of the city that not only need that kind of economic development, but also are accessible to the target populations. Additionally, with Syracuse and Central New York being the flagship hub, 3 additional locations across the state were recently announced to also have their own on-ramp hub. And those are the Capital District, Finger Lakes, and Mohawk Valley. So we're able to, again, create a lot of cohesion across the corridor and across upstate New York in continuing to advance these efforts. So what OnRamp hopes to do is offer an opportunity for people in the community to walk through the doors and to have a really comprehensive experience and ability to learn more about what these opportunities are, address a lot of barriers that they have in their lives. So that is often one of the biggest issues, right? The jobs might be available, but we don't really know what's going on in the background. People need support in transportation, childcare, financial literacy. All of these kinds of resources and navigation support are going to be available to every participant that comes through the doors and expresses interest in pursuing a career in either manufacturing or construction. students will also be paid for their participation in these programs. We've found in really practical experience that paying people for their time makes a big difference in the engagement and the retention, especially when we're talking about a lot of economic barriers that would prevent people from wanting to pursue additional educational opportunities. And so when people in the community come through OnRamp, they will again have that opportunity to go down the higher education route, get a certificate or a 2-year degree program from OCC through their electromechanical technology program, which is a newer degree program that was developed in partnership with Micron, that graduates of the program will have the proper skills and education to be high-paying technicians in the fabs when they open in a couple years. But not only that, since Micron won't be open for a few years, it's also applicable to a number of other manufacturing partners in the area. So again, those access opportunities to jobs are already here. What that also means for employers is that OnRamp will provide them with an opportunity to really help develop what the interface between job seekers and the employers looks like right on site as well. There are going to be coaches and other staff that are going to be working with candidates as they get ready for their interviews. Companies will be able to meet the candidates early on and really start to think about what recruitment looks like. The companies and the unions will also directly inform and engage the classroom and the hands-on training so that there is a lot of alignment in what the companies are looking for in their staff, and how we're able to work with other training providers and making sure that we're helping them reach their goals as well. Some of the things that we have heard from the manufacturers in the area around what they are looking for to fill these needs include, again, emphasis on the diversity of the pipeline, additional industry and awareness, improved training and skills, but also acknowledging that their employees, when it comes to retention, do have a lot of barriers. And there are opportunities to help these employers really truly understand what they can do as some of our most important partners in advancing the economic development of the area, in addressing and continuing to be an example for their counterparts in other companies. This work wouldn't be, excuse me, as valuable as it needs to be without actually having the community's voice at the forefront. And so while we've been doing the work on really understanding what OnRamp could and should look like, we partnered with Urban Jobs Task Force to hold a series of community focus groups all across the city to understand what currently is preventing community members in accessing, thanks Rita, in accessing these jobs. And so here are some of the things that we heard. Let's see if I can get this to stick on the slide. Oh my goodness, a little delay here. This is why I went into public health and not tech, everybody. I can't even handle a clicker. So some of the challenges and barriers in accessing the trades and skills that we heard from the community members was that, of course, transportation, childcare, your basic needs were often a challenge. Some concerns on the benefits cliff. We know that some of our community members rely on certain benefits, and there are thresholds. So we want to make sure that we are doing what we can to support that and not make things more difficult for them. Challenges around legal support and reentry. So we have partners who are looking into what that aspect looks like as well. Flexible scheduling, which is oftentimes linked with childcare needs. And the community sessions also gave us really valuable feedback on what aspects we needed to prioritize in the creation and development of on-ramp and making sure that we have the proper partners at the table for that. And so the intention for something like on-ramp isn't to recreate the wheel, it's to make sure that all the wheels are on the same car so that we can keep moving forward. There is a lot of intentionality that is going to go into designing this space. As I mentioned, the Sears building is going to be the future site, but I think if, as many of us know, if you've driven by it, it needs a lot of help. So it'll be a few years until things are able to be operated out of that building, but our intention is to have a temporary storefront and operate programming, various kinds of programming that are under the on-ramp umbrella this fall. So that's coming up around the corner. Part of that programming is the Bridge to Manufacturing Careers program. So this is a collaborative effort helping underrepresented populations gain access to those higher education opportunities. So the end of the bridge is that two-year degree program at OCC that I described a minute ago. So that people in the community can gain access to Micron and other manufacturers in the area. Through this program, they will also undergo career exploration, barrier mitigation, and skills development to ensure success in this program. Some of our partners, a few who are in the room right now, include OCC, On Point for College, Westcott Community Center, Northside Learning Center, OCM BOCES, SUNY EOC, and Blueprint 15. And some of the services that Bridge participants will experience include those career exploration opportunities, some basic needs support, access to employers, networking opportunities, tours, and support in math, reading, and English if they need it, and some college readiness and financial aid support. So this is just a little graphic on what a pathway on the bridge program could look like. So this, again, the end of the bridge is OCC, but we know that there are going to be times or participants who might not be able to go to college for a number of reasons or decide that this isn't the right pathway for them. And that's totally okay. We have off-ramps built in there where if students need additional support, if they come in without a GED or high school equivalency, we can refer them to our partners and help them reach those goals and then continue on down the pathway. If they decide that they would like to go to work faster, we can connect them to shorter-term job training opportunities. But one of the main goals is to work very closely with the participants so that we're able to go also at their pace, but really get them those resources that they need to be successful in the future and for the success of their families. It's gonna go at one point, I promise. Let's see. Maybe or maybe not. There's a couple more slides. That's it. There we go. Thank you. We are currently in the implementation of a second pilot cohort. We ran our first cohort that happened very quickly last summer. We completed the cohort through the learning community aspect in August 2024, and we had 12 students who completed it. We started off with a much broader pipeline. 15 students ultimately ended up going to the learning community, which is like a final push right before the semester starts at Onondaga Community College to help build up some of the skills for their success in the program. 12 completed. 8 of those students enrolled in the OCC ELM program in the fall semester. 1 began in the spring. And as I said, we're currently underway in active recruitment and engagement with students for the fall semester and ongoing recruitment for the following spring semester as well, for spring 2026. So one of the things I want to highlight with Bridge too is that people can come on the bridge at any point. There are some deadlines, of course, like when the semesters start and everything like that. But if someone decides to come on now, expresses interest in this, that's totally okay. They're not late by any means. What that would mean is that we just want to make sure that we are able to properly prepare them, and that maybe it's more appropriate to get them ready for the spring semester instead of the fall, since it's right around the corner, even though the graduation was just last week. But we all know how that works. A couple success stories from our students who completed last summer. One student decided to not go to OCC, but during one of the networking panels that we had with employers during the learning community, he made a really great connection with the recruiter from TTM and asked right on the spot, just like we wanted them, how do I get a job there? And then fast forward a few months later, he's working at TTM, which makes a huge impact in his job trajectory from where he was at before the program. A few other students, one who had such high academic success in the fall semester was selected to participate in OCC's C-STEP program for additional support and advancement in the field. She is a new American mom with 5 kids and is making it work, and that is, I give her all the kudos. This was such a great opportunity for her and for all of our participants, but it's been really great to see what in a very short time we've been able to achieve with this. And another student was in the program was selected to be one of the Micron interns for summer 2025. So we're expecting and hoping for additional success with our latest cohort of students who will be beginning in the fall. For any more information on any of the things that I discussed today, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thanks so much, Amelia. I'm going to now turn this over to Brian Hoke, our Focus Emeritus Board member, for some questions and answers. Here you go. Oh, you got that.
Can you all hear me okay? Is that working? Good, okay. Thanks. Well, thanks to you both for your remarks. We don't have a ton of time, but I do want to ask some of the questions that were sent in advance. Not being able to see like usual when I'm sitting in my den, the questions coming in, but be that as it may. One that stood out to me was a question about the most effective strategies for students and adults to identify what their passions are and their skills are, right? I mean, we've seen there are tremendous opportunities, a wealth of resources available from a wide variety of partners and organizations, but how do you help, or how can one help oneself find out what it is? What would I be good at? What do I want to do? Whether it's an 8th grader thinking about high school, going into high school, a 35-year-old thinking about making a change from a retail or food service career. How do you, obviously you both touched on this already, but I wonder if you might elaborate on some of those, helping folks find their way and then get into the training programs, if you would.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I can speak a little bit from CTE point of view. It really is just exposing students early. And I spoke a lot about what we're doing in the high schools, but I didn't really touch on with the amazing things that we're doing in the middle schools. So we're already having our students explore the different pathways in some way through 6th and 8th grade. So by the time they get to 8th grade, they can make a more informed decision on where they want to be in 9th and 12th grade. So really just making sure that students are exposed as early as they can be. We're doing things in middle school now, but the plan is to go further back, right, into elementary, and making sure that students really tap into what their passions are, and not what we say is where you should be because that's where the money is. But really tap into what they're passionate about really early on and being exposed to that.
So does it manifest, I'm sorry, one more follow-up. Does it manifest itself as, hey, try this on, this more tech-based thing, or this more,
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think the flip side of that is actually finding out what you don't like, right? So if you're touching on things that, okay, whether it's tech or whether it's more of the traditional trade programs, you can really see what you like and don't like and really navigate and gravitate toward those areas that you're more comfortable with, I guess.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I think similarly from an adult perspective, we not only want to make sure that we're able to expose to people to some of these what might be very new careers to them, but also identifying where the transferable skills are. And so using Bridge as an example, as we're recruiting participants for Bridge, right in the recruitment materials is, do you like to work with your hands? Do you like to take things together and put them apart? Is just to start getting people to think about, what do I like? What do I don't like? Just like Quindell is saying, and really looking at what those skills are that we can highlight and put into use in a different kind of way that they might have never thought about. Like an example that we use too, and we've seen is someone might be a nail tech. That means that they have really good dexterity, which would set them up to be really successful in a manufacturing setting, working on developing the microchips and everything like that.
That's cool. I imagine it gets both harder and easier as you get farther along as an adult. Okay,
We'll
sorry.
just have to share.
I'll jog back and forth. Right, so if you're 40 years old, you've tried on different things, right? You have different skills, but maybe there's more resistance to change. Do you find that in, do you find that among, as adults get older, is that more of an issue perhaps of?
Sometimes I think it can be an issue, but I think with all the exciting opportunities that we have in front of us, I think the curiosity is enough to get people to start thinking about what they want to do. I mean, at 40, 45, it's not old anymore. It was like 100 plus years ago, right? But right now you're right at your prime. And I think that with the additional opportunities that we have in the space that we are operating in for education, there are resources that are coming down the pike that are specifically going to target people who are either mid-career or looking to change careers. So something I want to highlight as an opportunity for that is it was recently passed in the governor's budget for the state for free community college tuition for careers in things like manufacturing and construction and other growing fields, specifically for people between the ages of 25 to 55. So I think that that is going to be a really transformative impact in the future, in the near future, actually, as we're looking at exposing people to other opportunities and hopefully continuing to build up a diverse workforce.
Get a little more kinetic this this Q&A. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I do want to get to at least one more question. Bob Haley, a Focus board member, asked, what is being done to raise the respect and employment opportunities for careers in basic skill trades like carpentry, painting, masonry, and other basic repair trades? You both certainly touched on that, but I wonder in particular if you might touch on or delve deeper into the respect bit, right? Perhaps that our society places upon these vital jobs that are coming to our community, thank goodness, right? But I wonder if you might say a little more about that, each of you, if you would.
Yeah, some of our great programs, we have a construction tech program, we have welding, we have HVAC, and something that Amelia talked about, which I've been really plugged into this year is the Pathways to Apprenticeship program, exposing our students to those opportunities, right? So they're learning industry level coursework. They're meeting with the unions, right? They're tapping into the folks who are doing the work. They're seeing around them everything that's being built up, whether it's, or coming down rather, 81's coming down and then Micron's coming up, and that's immersed in what they're doing every day. So really just saying like, hey, this is happening, whether you want it to happen or not. You should be a part of this because this is your community, this is where you live at. And there's opportunities for you to connect to the trades, to be a part of that and earn some decent money and change your life. And in addition to that, we're also making sure that if this is what they want to do, they are tapped into career and financial management so that they're able to understand how to manage that new that new income that may come in for them. So really, I guess, again, going back to the exposure and seeing the things that are around them and connecting them to the pieces that are already out there to help them succeed in that.
And I think just to build off of that, as far as the respect piece goes too, I think what we're talking about is opportunities to have really tangible, visible landmarks in a lot of ways, right? For what's happening and what these people in the skilled trades are able to do. You'll go down the street and you'll see the Micron fabs, and you'll know that people in our community from the skilled trades built that. They might never see what an actual microchip looks like, right? They'll theoretically know what Micron does, but to see Micron is the buildings that people are actually going to build. They're going to see 81 come down. We're already seeing it. They're going to see what the impacts of that are in a very visible, tangible way. And I think that is something that will help build what the question is implying.
Last one, a quick one. You both are impressive representatives of what you're doing and what's being done in our community. We had a question about what would you, if you could be on your soapbox? I mean, you have been, right? You've talked about admirably what's going on, but as we just have a few minutes left, what one thing or few things would you want the community to know that look what's happening here? Look at all the good work we're doing. And again, it might be summarizing things you've already shared, but wonder if you might just close with that, please.
Yeah, I can speak from being directly in the classroom with these students. Like, the things that they are doing is amazing to me. I mean, which is why when I was a career coach, I have to be a part of this in some way. I don't care what it is, I have to be a part of this. And what I found as a teacher is that sometimes those students are teaching me things that I have, and you walk in like, man, you have no clue all the things you have access to. I didn't have this when I was in high school. Like, take advantage of it, and you will see students really take the tools and run with it in ways that you can't even fathom. And so to me, that's exciting to see that we have young folks who are eventually going to be leading the charge in our community, who are already exposed to things that I didn't get exposed to till I was in college or in my first career. That it's just amazing to me. And I employ and I ask folks, industry folks, community folks, to don't just take my word for it. Like, really, find ways to come in and see what the students are doing. Find ways to reach out to those programs and those teachers and those administrators and say, hey, we got something going on over here. We want to see if your students can be exposed to those things. So again, like, I'm talking too long, but I really think, like, just seeing firsthand what those students can do and what they will do is inspiring to me to want to keep continuing seeing CTE grow.
Thank you.
And I think just really quickly from a regional perspective, everything Quindell is describing, the impacts that the city school district is having on creating a new generation who's going to help lead this economic development. But I think also showing as a region that this is the appropriate place to invest. And I think that's been very clear with not just Micron, with the expansion of other local companies, additional support from state, local, and federal government in building up the area and really making a lot of transformative changes that we're going to see, like physically and visibly see in the next several years, I think is really exciting. And I think underscoring again those continued partnerships and the communication and transparency that we need to have in order to continue to advance this work is going to remain pretty key in the overall success.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Quindell and Amelia, for wonderful presentations and sharing with us. Brian, for moderating today, as always, very skillfully. I also want to mention our new executive director, Alicia Ernest, who is behind the scenes, together with Board Vice President Jerry Corradino. So thank you all. I also must thank EDR once again for their sponsorship of this forum. If anybody is interested in sponsoring a forum, please let us know. We'll be happy to speak with you. This presentation will be put on a copy of this will be on our website in the next few days. So if you have people who missed this presentation and would like to hear more about it, please send them our way, focussyracuse.org. I think that's it. Oh, there is also an easy way to donate to Focus Syracuse, a focus on our website. So please don't miss that when you visit us. And this is a holiday weekend. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your Friday with us. Take care.